Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 3 of The Walking Dead Telltale Games TV Adaptation series. We are on Episode 3, which is titled Reckless. So, the episode starts off with a flashback. You're going to see a lot of flashbacks throughout this series. It's a flashback of Lee and his wife, Leah, sitting around their dinner table, and they're talking about having kids. Leah shows clear signs of disinterest in ever having kids, like ever. Her phone rings as she leaves to go to the bathroom and take the call, and you kind of get a really good shot at Lee crying. Not like, tears pouring down his face, just like noticeably he is sad, and a tear drops down his face, and it ends like that. That's just a sort of a flashback to prove that Lee has wanted kids his whole life, but he always had, his wife in the way of getting kids because of the fact that that's why he's like a reasonably old man. He's like in his 30s, late 30s, never had kids. One of the reasons. And then, of course, clearly it's another disinterest that his wife had in him, which led her to cheating on him, and so on and so forth. So it kind of puts some more perspective into their situation. Back to the present, Lee reunites with Clem in the drugstore. She hugs him. Larry and Lily mouth off at Carly and Jordan for letting in new people into the drug house and making noise that clearly attracted walkers. Doug and Sean are also there. Jordan's light-skinned brother is Sean. He's kind of like, he's his brother, but he's a little more, light-skinned. He's not as dark as Jordan is. I'm going to want to call him Mike because I based his character off of Mike from Season 2. But trust me, his name is Jordan, and then his brother's name is Sean. Doug and Sean both stick up for Jordan and Carly as Lee, Kenny just kind of stand there and just kind of let the arguments go. Carly argues and says that they have kids with them and that they have room in here. Larry looks over and sees that Duck is a bit bloody. He says that, damn it, one of the kids is bitten, just like he did, obviously, within the game. Katja and Kenny say that it's Walker blood and that he's fine. He wasn't bitten. Katja's checking him out, making sure he's fine, and he seems fine. Larry says they should have seen this happen and that they have seen this happen before, and they know that when you are bitten, you turn. Lee says he doesn't know that, but he isn't bitten, so they aren't going to have to worry about that anyways. And Larry says they got to throw him out now. He's just freaking out. Kenny gets all up in Larry's face, and the argument is broken up after Clem is out of nowhere attacked by a walker that busts out of the bathroom. Carly shoots the walker right in the head. Larry continues to mouth off, but he falls to the ground while having an intense it's kind of a heart attack, but it's not as major as your normal heart attack. It's just rough heart pains that he's having. Katja asks what's wrong with him. Lily says it's his heart and that he needs nitroglycerin pills from the drug room, but the whole place is empty. And Lee says he believes what they may need might be at the shelter they were just at, but it's kind of full of walkers, so could be a bad idea. Lily begs him to go and says that he will repay them. Carly says they really got to do something about these walkers, or they'll all be dead once they take apart the gate leading to the door. Sean leads the way and says they'll split up into groups. He says they need gasoline for the truck out back, so Lee, Carly, and Jordan will get some from that gas station nearby whilst on their way back from the shelter to get medicine. Kenny, Sean, and Doug will work on distracting those walkers into another direction to buy them more time. Lily will stay back with Larry, Katja, Clem, and Duck in the drugstore. Carly and Jordan pack their things to get ready to go as Lee checks out the drugstore office. He takes a photo off this table of his family and rips off the part of the photo that has him in it. Carly comes in and tells Lee that she knows who he is. Lee questions what she is talking about, and Carly says she's a reporter. She's been studying his case for a while and knows what he did, but she doesn't care because, well, they're in this crisis now. She just wants to make sure he isn't going to be a problem to the group. Lee says he's cool. He says he doesn't want anyone to know, though. Carly says she won't tell anyone as long as he doesn't cause problems. Lee and Carly head to Jordan as they say bye to everyone else. Lee pats Clem's head and she tells him to be safe. And, Lee tells her to be safe as well. They get going down the road from the back exit. Kenny and Doug head to the roof and look at a group of walkers below the entrance. Doug says they are all attracted to sound primarily. That's why they all came in when they heard the gunshots. He says that they somehow set off an alarm at a store across the street. It'll help them a lot, but not for right away. Just once they are ready to leave, since the truck is in the front, they can distract them by setting off an alarm. Then they can run off to the truck and get out of here. But they need the gasoline first, so they have to wait. That's what I'm trying to say. Katja keeps Larry breathing well as Lily thanks her for the help. Clem and Duck look around the place as Duck keeps on talking about video games and dinosaurs, and Clem says she only ever found interest in coloring books. She even says she wants to be an artist when she grows up. Sean keeps an eye out from below at the front entrance. Lee, Carly, and Jordan continue moving down the street. Jordan talks about his brother being a controlling asshole sometimes and that he's sorry for that. Lee says he doesn't mind a bit of leadership from anyone since it does kind of help out. Doug comes up with the idea to go over to the store across the street to turn on the alarm system to lure the herd over there. Kenny asks who the hell would do that, and Doug says he will. Kenny thinks he's crazy, but Doug says he's very good at getting in and out of small spaces and getting, from one place to another quickly. He says he was actually a ball boy for a tennis league, so he's pretty good at running back and forth. Lee, Jordan, and Carly pass by a motel on the way to the shelter. Jordan comments on how they should come here to hold up for a bit after they get these pills and the gas for the truck and van. They move on and head up outside the gates of the shelter that they were at just in the past episode. Lee uses the bandana that Kenny gave him. He says they should do the same as he hands them some. Lee says he doesn't want any of their blood getting in his mouth. He doesn't know what that could cause. They spot a few walkers. Lee comes behind one of them with his axe and slices the walker's neck. He gives it one last slice after the walker falls to the ground. Jordan comes behind one with a hammer and smashes the face in. Carly uses her pistol to smack the walker's face in. They move on into the shelter through the front door. It seems clear as they check the area for any supplies and medicine. Carly finds a storage room that has tons of weapons, food, supplies. Jordan grabs a pistol, as does Lee. Carly says noise attracts these things, so they shouldn't shoot too much unless they have to. Carly finds the medicine shelves and starts searching for pills, for the specific pills they need. She grabs as many as possible, though, just in case. Lee helps her as Jordan keeps a watch in the lobby room after he grabs the gasoline from the garage outside. A walker attacks him from behind the counter. He yells as Lee and Carly come running for help. A whole group of walkers approach the front door from outside as well. Carly shoots the walkers that got on top of Jordan as they run back to the supplies room to get the pills. Lee says him and Jordan can hold them off. They keep firing their pistols into the horde as Carly searches for the pills. Sean comes up to the drugstore roof and has a conversation with Kenny and Doug. Doug tells Sean the plan that they have, and Sean asks Kenny what his plan is for his family after they get out of here. Kenny tells them about the boat in Savannah. Sean says what he's seen out there so far, in cities especially, it's a goddamn shit show. He says getting to Savannah would be hard enough, and then in there it's probably filled with the infected. Kenny says they'll deal with it when the problem comes, but he knows his plan is the best one. Carly finally finds the pills that she needs as the group recollect themselves and leave through the back shelter door. They get back on the road without walkers being present and head back to the drugstore. They got the gasoline, of course, from the garage. They didn't think they would, so they don't really need to stop at the gas station anymore. As they walk, Jordan talks about his potential basketball career that he hopes he could take on when things get back to normal. Lee makes a joke about him being the next Michael Jordan. The three are suddenly stopped in the middle of the road by 3 prison inmates coming from the woods. The 2 have pistols point straight at the group as Randy comes out from behind them. Lee looks surprised and worried. Randy gets sort of surprised as well, seeing Lee. Randy has his 2 friends take away Carly, Jordan, and Lee's weapons as well as their supplies and such. Lee says they have to get this stuff to a dying man right now. Randy then replies with saying he never cared about lives anyways, considering he left him to die by that walker before. Jordan questions Lee if he knows him and how the hell he knows him. Lee kind of dodges the question as Randy goes on to say that Lee was with him in prison after murdering a man who slept with his wife. Randy then tells them how he almost got eaten alive after they escaped, and Lee almost left him to die. Randy says he met up with these other inmates at their prison bus, which didn't make it to the other prison either because of an encounter with the infested. Randy tells them to just waste them so they can take their stuff and go. Jordan and Carly beg as Lee stares at Randy and says, "You goddamn coward." He insults Randy by saying he's a scared little bitch and is having his slaves do his dirty work instead of being a man and facing his problems on his own. Randy goes up to Lee and punches him in the face. He keeps going a few times after. The other two inmates seem more focused on Randy punching Lee than keeping an eye on Jordan and Carly. So, Jordan and Carly both make a leap for it and grab their captives. Carly is able to grab the pistol out of the guy's hand and then turn around and shoot him in the stomach. She tries to shoot Randy just as Lee rolls back and gets into a scuffle with him. Jordan gets his ass kicked by the guy he tried to fight against, but Carly is able to shoot the guy in the chest. Lee is able to get the upper hand on Randy as he chokes him out. He keeps going as Carly and Jordan watch. Lee squeezes Randy's neck in so hard that his windpipes snap, and Randy dies. Lee sits back on the floor in shock after what he just did. As he was doing that, things kept popping in his head like voices almost that were telling him that he will never kill again, he will never kill again, he will never kill again. And they just kept going through his damn head. But he killed again. But it was for a good reason. Some psychopath was attacking him, obviously. Jordan asks Lee about the whole prison thing, and Carly explains it to him and says she also explains how she knew about it. Lee doesn't really speak as they head back to the drugstore. They make it to the outside and get in through the back exit like before. They greet the group and Clem gives Lee a hug. She asks what happened to his face. Everyone else asks as well. He explains they came across some people who wanted to steal their stuff, but they fought them off and dealt with it. He tells Clem not to worry about his face and that it's just a small injury, nothing that ice can't fix. Kenny speaks to Lee in private and makes sure that everyone was okay and that they don't have some group coming after them. Lee says they took care of the problem. It was just a couple guys, just a couple assholes. Doug and Sean come over to the rest of the group to discuss their plan. Doug says he'll run over to the Radio Shack store across the street and sound the alarm. Then he'll make a run back to the drugstore alleyway where the truck is, and they'll book it out of there. Jordan goes to make sure the truck and van are filled with gasoline. Lee gives Lily the pills, and she gives them to Larry. Lily says thanks, but Larry doesn't really say anything at all. Sean gets ready as the driver in the van, and Kenny gets in the truck with Katja, Duck, and Clem. Lily gets Larry into the van as Carly, Lee, and Jordan keep watch on Doug to make sure he ends up okay because he's obviously doing some pretty dangerous shit. Doug sneaks his ass over across the street and gets inside through the back using a crowbar. He sounds the alarm by smashing the front windows. The walkers head in as he gets to the back alley and is all of a sudden swarmed by walkers. Carly really gets worried when she realizes it's taking him a long time to get back. She runs towards the store, so does Lee, Jordan, and Sean. They come around the corner to see Doug is being grabbed by a whole group of walkers through a fence. He's not bitten or anything, but he's getting grabbed by them. Sean and Jordan start firing at the group of walkers from behind them. Carly's also grabbed by walkers behind the other side of the fence. And then suddenly everything goes into slow motion, and Lee thinks about what to do. He chooses to grab the walker that is on Carly and smashes its face in with his boot. He then sees Doug being torn open through the fence. Carly grasps in shock. Lily starts driving the van, as does Kenny with the truck, so the vehicles are lined up in the road. They're ready to go, but the group needs to hurry their ass up. The group go running down the alley as Sean is grabbed by a walker behind a garbage bin, and he is eaten alive. The walker bites out his neck, and it's disgusting. Jordan freezes in shock, but Lee grabs him out of the way of a walker. Lee jumps into the back of the truck as Carly and Jordan hop in the van with Lily. They drive down the road. They got the hell out of there. Lee tells Kenny to stop by a motel a few blocks east. He says they can regroup there. A few hours go by as the group has settled into the Motor Inn motel. Everyone rests and relaxes. Lee talks to Kenny about the plan going forward. Kenny says he doesn't think it's safe out there for traveling at the moment, so he thinks they should just stay here for a few days until it seems safe to go. Lee asks about what he should tell Clem. Kenny asks if he even thinks her parents are alive. Lee says he doesn't know, but it didn't seem like it from their cell message. He goes up to Clem after she's talking to Duck about random stuff. He tells her that they have to stay here for a few days because it's not safe out there to travel. Clem says the longer they wait, the harder it might be to find them. Lee says he knows, but they are safe for here and safe for the better. Clem then asks what happened to Doug and Sean. Lee says they didn't make it. He wants to be honest with her, but not too honest. Lee then goes to talk to Jordan. Jordan doesn't say much because he's still in shock after what happened to his brother. Lee asks if he's all right, and Jordan says his brother was a good man and didn't do anything wrong. He didn't deserve this. Jordan says the world works in a strange ways, that the good people seem to always be the first ones to die. Lee talks to Carly as well. She asks why the hell he chose to save her instead of Doug. She says she saw him hesitating for who to go for, since he could have saved either of them, but he chose her. Lee says because she was just closer to him and it was easier, and wasn't really a choice, and it was more so an instinct. Carly says she could have handled those walkers. She was in a good position, but Doug couldn't. Lee says he's sorry. Carly says she kind of liked Doug. They knew each other since they were teenagers in high school. He was always had some sort of a crush on her, but she never really did anything about it. But I don't know. Lastly, Lee goes to walk away, but is stopped by Larry. He tells Lee that he knows who he is, that he's a killer. Larry says he keeps up with the news, so he kind of knows stuff like this. Larry says he'll keep quiet, as long as he stays the fuck away from his daughter and doesn't do anything to piss him off. Lee says he should be thanking him for getting him those pills. Larry says he doesn't give a shit. Lily comes by Kenny and says she thinks this place can work out for a while until everything goes back to normal. Just as the power to the motor inn shuts down and all the lights go out. Boom, end of episode. That is episode 3 of The Walking Dead Season 1 Telltale TV Adaptation series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.